up, people? Welcome to another one. Now, before we get started, if you find value in this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that stuff. Yeah. So, today we'll be getting into our third type of eater, and I feel very strongly about this type of eater because I am personally this type of eater. And today's third type of eater is the scavenger eater. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 things that this type of eater runs into, and also 3 ways that this type of eater can help themselves get off of this style of eating, or at least be aware of it and monitor it as they live their life. So a scavenger eater is someone who is pretty much just down to eat whatever outside of whatever allergies or things that they may have. Now, I myself do not have any food allergies, so pretty much eating whatever. Now, I don't really care for spicy food, but outside of that, pretty much down to eat whatever. So regardless of your goal, if you know that you're a scavenger eater, if you know you don't really put a lot of thought into food, you appreciate food that tastes good, but it's not a deal breaker or maker for you, whether or not the food is like the best tasting thing in the world. If you know you have a busy schedule and you tend to just grab whatever's in front of you, or you don't really prioritize planning out your meals, then this video is more than likely for you. So the number one issue that scavenger eaters run into, and this is going to be the most important issue, regardless of if your goal is to gain weight, lose weight, maintain, doesn't matter. The number one issue in reality that scavenger eaters run into, including myself, is that you end up consuming a lot of bad calories or low profile calories. So what does that mean? So for someone like myself who is more on the end of looking to gain weight, put on muscle, increase size, etc., you know, without proper education or proper awareness, I could just kind of be like, okay, well, I mean, Snickers is about 300 calories, and then this piece of pie is about 400 calories, then the McDonald's value menu is like 1,000 something calories, so I'm getting my calories in. I should be, you know, putting on muscle or putting on size because, you know, calories are calories, right? If I'm in that mentality. Or you could be the type of person that's just like, I need to hit a certain amount of calories per day to meet my nutrition tracker goals on paper. So let me just make sure I check off these boxes, right? So just 2 examples to where a person with a scavenger eater mentality, who's kind of just willing to eat anything as long as it's available or helps them check off the box on paper, can be bad. I'll just say that. It can be bad, and depending on your goals and what you want your results to be in the gym, you could end up putting on a lot of bad weight. You could end up putting on a lot of water weight. So if you're looking to gain weight, your weight might increase on the scale, but you might start looking skinny fat or just like bloated around your midsection, or just holding more water or retention in your face, you know, things like that. Because more times than not, this is a bonus fact, more times than not, bad calories are typically coupled with high preservatives, high additives like food colorings and things like that that don't do any real good or justice. Sugar, salt, all of that stuff, right? Which isn't really good for anyone and with any goal they want to do. Now, salt is debatable because you got Himalayan salt and sea salt and things like that that people can argue have somewhat of a benefit. But overall, the number one issue with scavenger eaters is that they are more prone to intaking poor calories and low profile foods, which will kill your results regardless of what your goal is. The second issue, the second problem that scavenger eaters will notice is that you will have inconsistent energy levels if you are a scavenger eater. That means that some days, roll the dice, you might eat better and cleaner, which will give you better energy. Some days you might end up eating a bunch of fast food or drinking a lot of high sugar drinks, which might make you feel lethargic or bloated or lazier, So because of your eating habits and your nutrition habits from being a scavenger type eater, you'll notice that some days you feel really good, some days you feel really bad, some days you have really high energy, some days you might have really low energy. And most of that, of course, outside of how much sleep and active recovery you're getting from the physical component, a lot of that is related to your nutrition habits and how you're eating and how you're hydrating, the types of things that you're putting into your body and you're consuming from a food level. So if you are a scavenger eater, or you're able to pinpoint that you might have some of those tendencies and you notice your energy levels fluctuate pretty heavily, that's why. And the last point that I want to make about scavenger eaters, the third thing that you might be running into, is that your results may be non-existent, very slow, or highly inconsistent. And I know that sounds like three different answers, but because you are a scavenger eater, again, you can go 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks with eating a certain way and see certain results. And then as soon as your schedule gets busy or there's a failure to plan or prepare properly for how you need or should be eating, then you'll see your weight or your aesthetic or your look or your strength levels kind of fluctuate, all around, And what I've noticed, and I can't prove it, but what I've noticed is that many scavenger eaters have no issue with working out really hard in the gym. I don't have any science behind that. I can't prove that anywhere from any documentation. Just from my observation, many scavenger eaters do not mind going balls to the wall in the gym, but they don't prioritize their nutrition the same way, which causes this fluctuation in results or performance or how you look. So that's the third thing and third issue that scavenger eaters may be running into. So the first way number one, that a scavenger eater can alleviate themselves from this style of eating and have a better nutrition connection is to begin to research the types of foods that you need for your goal. Because another bonus thing too that I didn't mention that scavenger eaters go through is that you end up spending a lot of money on food because you just tend to buy whatever. You tend to just buy it when you need it. And even though there's this thing around healthy food being more expensive, healthy food being purchased from the grocery store in bulk to prepare is a lot cheaper, actually. So if you do research the types of foods that you need, you'll be able to prepare better at the grocery store and then be able to either bring your food to work with you, get a lunchbox, or just be able to only have the best choices and high profile foods around you, either in your home space or if you're moving around or for a snack or whatever. You'll only have the best choices available to you if you know you don't want to have a whole lot of in the moment thinking when it comes to food. Point number two, or tip number two, what you can do as a scavenger eater, kind of segues away from the first point, is that set alarms and be more prepared to eat. Sometimes scavenger eaters, including myself, you can look up and be like, oh man, I haven't eaten in like 4 or 5 hours. I just need to get something, right? And then that's when the other bad habits kind of come into play. So if you have your meals ready. You have all your healthy choices available to you within arm's reach from point number one. Then two, you don't want to prepare all this healthy food and have it available and then not eat, right? Or don't eat on time and then start doing something else and then be in a situation where you don't have your healthy choices in front of you anymore. So set alarms, get in the habit of knowing that those alarms are going to go off to remind you to eat. And then know that based on what time that alarm is going off, it should correlate with what you should be eating at that designated time. So hopefully that also helps a lot. It's helped me a lot. And tip number 3 is to have an accountability partner for your eating. So if you're married, you can use your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, friend, gym partner. If not, you can reach out and recruit maybe one of your family members or somebody in that realm to help you stay on track if it's something that you do just genuinely struggle with, and it's something that is really hard for you to fight off. So if you're going to the gym, you're putting in all this work, but you just cannot get yourself to make good food choices. Like, you're not a picky eater, you're not a foodie, you kind of don't care, right? This is what the scavenger eater is. Like, they kind of don't care, but because of that, they don't really prioritize it either. So it's like, it's good that you're open to like eat and consume just about anything, right? So in essence, that would make your life easier, right? Or make your goals maybe easier to obtain because you don't have all these mental restrictions or physical restrictions when it comes to food. But because of that, the other side of that coin is that you could completely not take it serious or blow it off or just fail to establish a routine for progression. So if you are struggling, recruit a family member, a friend, a spouse, anyone that can help you. Reach out, get a coach if you need it. But those are 3 ways or 3 things that scavenger eaters, forgot which one I was on, scavenger eaters struggle with, and then 3 ways for scavenger eaters to improve themselves. So if you found this video helpful, if this is going to be something that you try to use and implement into your life, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. I'll think of something else to talk about. Until then, I'll see y'all later. Peace.
That's one of them new Ben Franklins you count there, baby pop.
You don't stop.
Gotta get that money.
You don't stop.
Man.